The day before. The phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, its vibration rattling against the half-empty wine glass I'd been nursing. My heart lurched as I read Tom's message. "My mom wants you for dinner." The words blurred not because of the wine but because of the ellipsis. 3 dots that felt like a held breath, a secret crouching in the shadows. It was 8 p.m. the night before our wedding, and he was at his mother's supposedly finalizing seating charts. Why did the message feel like a blade pressed lightly against my skin? I typed back, "Tonight? Kinda late, babe." My thumb hovered over the send button, a tremor of unease curling in my gut. The apartment was too quiet, the hum of the fridge amplifying the hollowness. I pictured Tom's boyish grin, his hazel eyes crinkling as he'd kissed me goodbye that morning. "Just family stuff," he'd said, his voice warm but distracted. I'd ignored the way his phone had stayed face down on the table all week, the way he'd laughed too quickly when I asked about his late nights at work. The reply came, "Yeah, she's insistent. Can you come?" "No, I love you, no, can't wait for tomorrow." I set the glass down, the stem cold against my palm, and stared at the fairy lights draped across our living room. They flickered, one bulb dimmer than the rest, like a warning I'd chosen to ignore. I'd seen the signs, his hushed calls, the perfume on his jacket I didn't recognize, the way he'd stopped touching me in that absent, tender way he used to. But love is a stubborn architect, building castles out of sand. I drove to his mother's house, the city lights streaking past like tears on glass. The radio played a love song and I switched it off, the silence heavier than the lyrics. My engagement ring glinted under the streetlights, a promise that now felt like a question. When I pulled into the driveway, the house was dark except for a single upstairs window glowing faintly. My stomach twisted. Tom's car wasn't there. I knocked, the sound swallowed by the night. No answer. The air smelled of rain and regret, and I fumbled with my phone, calling him. Straight to voicemail. "Tom, I'm here," I said, my voice brittle. "Where are you?" I pushed the door and it creaked open, unlocked. My pulse hammered in my throat as I stepped inside, the familiar scent of lavender and old wood now tinged with something sharp like bleach. "Helen." I called, my voice echoing. Tom's mother wasn't home either. The dining room was empty, the table bare except for a single candle, unlit, its wax pooling like a frozen sob. Upstairs the light flickered. My feet moved before my mind could catch up, drawn to that glow like a moth to a flame it knows will burn. The bedroom door was ajar. I pushed it open and the world tilted. There on the bed was Tom's jacket, the one I'd bought him last Christmas, crumpled beside a pair of heels I didn't own. A woman's laugh, soft and intimate, drifted from the ensuite bathroom, followed by the low murmur of Tom's voice. My knees buckled, but I caught myself on the doorframe, the wood splintering under my nails. I wanted to scream, to storm in, but my body froze, betrayal sinking into my bones like ice. Instead, I crept closer, the floorboards groaning under my weight. Through the crack in the bathroom door, I saw them. Tom's shirt unbuttoned and her, a stranger with dark hair, her hands on his chest. "We can't keep doing this," she whispered, her voice a mix of guilt and hunger. Tom's reply was a kiss, deep and deliberate, the kind he hadn't given me in months. My phone slipped from my hand, hitting the floor with a thud. The laughter stopped. Tom's eyes met mine through the crack, wide with panic, then shame. "Lila," he choked, stepping toward me, but I was already running, my vision blurring with tears and rage. Downstairs, I grabbed his jacket, the scent of that unfamiliar perfume choking me. Something crinkled in the pocket. A note. I unfolded it, my hands shaking. "Meet me at the hotel after the rehearsal. We'll figure it out." The world spun. The rehearsal was yesterday. He'd been with her then too, while I'd been smiling at our friends, practicing vows I thought meant something. I drove home, the note crumpled in my fist, my heart a war zone of love and loathing. When Tom's name flashed on my phone, I didn't answer. Instead, I sat in our apartment, the fairy lights now dark, and stared at the ring on my finger. Tomorrow was supposed to be forever. But as I slipped the ring off, the truth settled in. Forever was a lie, and the dinner I was invited to was never meant for me.